Hi and welcome back. Today we're gonna take a closer look at one of Trinity Stamp's stencils called Space Swirl, and I hope you will enjoy both of these projects that we are gonna create today. So first off, let us take a closer look at this fun stencil pack. It's a large one. It's a 6x9 stencil, and it contains 3 different stencils and all of the inlay pieces that you can see here on the screen. So it might look a little bit intimidating when you first see this, but it was super easy to figure out how to use this stencil, and I am super impressed, and I will definitely use this one in the future again. So you can see here that this constructs a swirl and that you can use for a space themed card, and we will do something similar to that today as well. But I also wanted to show you that you can create something more with these. So this were the 2 layers, and then it comes with this star pattern that we're also going to use today. So we're going to start off with this happy rainbow card, and I'm taking one of the large swirls here. I'm actually taking the one that has the smaller swirl, if that makes sense, and that is just because this was the first time I used this stencil, and I wanted to make sure that I had a good placement for the swirl, and I also wanted to make sure that I fitted every color of the rainbow on my swirl here. So I picked some long foam inks, and I will be using a blending brush from Trinity Stamps. I just love these brushes. I have been using them a ton since I got them, and it really makes ink blending fun for me. So if you haven't tried any ink blending tools, I definitely recommend you to pick some up, and I really recommend these ones. They have a finer tip to them, so it's easy to come into smaller areas with them. So here I am just inking this up, making sure that I have every part of this inked up. We will actually go back in with this stencil once more, but first off we're gonna take this and just create a little bit more color here. I had a little bit of a trouble to fitting the blue and the purple. If I would do this card again, I would probably leave those 2 colors out, because I think it turned out really good with the other colors. So here I'm just trying to figure out how these will overlap, but you can see that Trinity Stamps stencils always has the lacing. I don't know if the camera is picking that up, but it has a laser edging to it, so you can see that I could easily cover those areas and I align them together. If you would do this, you probably should start with the one I am using now, because I think that makes more sense. We will actually go in and emphasize the smaller one later on, but I used that one, as I said previously, just to make sure that I had every color in the rainbow fitted on this card. So I'm doing this with a quite light hand, and making sure that the stencil is not peeling up. I didn't use any pixie adhesive for this. That is a tip. I will use it later on in this video, because then you wouldn't have any chance of the adhesive sipping underneath the stencil. So when I'm happy with this, you're gonna see I'm gonna peel this off again, and then we're gonna go in with the first one again, just to make that a little bit more a little bit darker. So I am loving how these cards turned out, and especially this one with a happy rainbow. I just love a good rainbow, and I think this is a phenomenal one, and it was so much fun to create, to see the colors building up like this. Here I'm pressing really hard with my brushes, and you can see that even though I'm pressing very hard, get a good blending here. And as always when I'm ink blending, I'm no expert on getting the smoothest blend. I just want a lot of color down here, and I think it turns out pretty good every time. And of course, if it doesn't turn out good, you can always proceed with some water, especially if you're using another type of ink, like distress ink or a distress oxide or something like that is water reactive. That is really fun to do. So here you can see how the swirl turned out. So for our second card, we're gonna jump into that one right away. I had a lot of mistakes in this video, and I left pretty much everyone in here so you can see them. But the first thing here, I don't think this was actually fine. I switched my brushes against a blending tool here just to put down a heavy coat of ink. I'm using, I think it's chipped sapphire here. It's a little bit hard for me to see on the screen since it's so small, but you probably can see it better than I can. I am pressing really hard here. I had a really saturated foam, so I'm making sure that I'm coating this heavily. I wanted this to be fairly dark. And this is also my lightest color for today, I should mention. So, or for this card. So I'm pressing really hard. Now I want more of a galaxy look. That is what I'm going for. But I didn't want this to turn into a space card. So I'm trying to keep it more night sky-ish, if that makes sense. And then I'm going in with the second one. And as I talked about previously, it's easier to do it this way around, to have the largest layer first and then going in with the other layer. But you can figure it out either way. You saw that it was no problem for me to do it either way. So here I'm just laying this over on top of it, and then I'm gonna go in with one of the Lawn Fawn inks again, really heavily on top of this, making sure that I get a lot of ink here. I'm just peeking underneath so it looks like 2 layers. I wasn't sure if I had pressed hard enough and gotten enough ink onto the paper, but there was no problem, and I could see my result and I was happy with it. So I had a large area up here and I wanted to go in with both colors. So I'm switching between the Lawn Fawn ink and the Distress ink here, just to make sure I get the same color as I had on the other parts. So here is how it looks, and you could leave it at this with a white background, but I wanted a black background. So here I'm just taking a paper and spraying the inlay pieces here with some pixie dust so they can lay on their own, and leaving this probably 2 minutes to dry a little bit. And then I'm putting this on top of it. You will actually see that I'm peeling my paper a little bit when I'm tearing this off, but that was because I pressed this really hard down on top of this because I didn't want it to move. So don't do that if you are using this technique. And you will also see one mistake here soon, where I am actually missing a little bit of a border between these 2 colors. So that don't look good, I think, and I will go in with a Sharpie and just fixing that later on, and I think that actually turned out really good. Here I'm using black licorice from Lawn Fawn, heavy-handedly once more, just pressing this down, making sure that I get a lot of ink onto the paper. Now you can see that little whiteboard. I'm trying to fix it with my foam here again, but I decided that I didn't think that looked good, so I'm peeling off the rest, looking if I have any more mistakes. And you can see here, oh, I'm ripping my paper a little bit, so I'm going in with some blue more there. Anyway, I think those 2 panels turned out really good, and it would be fun to actually start this swirl on a black paper. That is a tip if you are going to do this, to try that out as well. I will definitely do it the next time I'm using this stencil. Here I'm taking the third and final stencil in this pack, and I will go in with some modeling paste. And the fun thing is, this is my 3rd mistake. I didn't like how this turned out at all. You can see I'm going in with a white paste here. In my mind, this will stay white, and that was the purpose of me using this paste, because I wanted something that was raised up, really, really heavily white. Didn't turn out that. I will show you later on. Here is a Nouveau, what is this called? Not a gel, not a paste. It's called, I can link it. It's a fun medium anyway to use. Oh, it's bothering me that I can't remember it, because I had it on my I had it in my mind like a second ago. Anyway, you probably know what this is called. Oh, it's so annoying. So annoying. Okay, so this turned out really good. I'm super happy with the results. Now you can see it actually, this white isn't white, it has turned to the color underneath. I don't like it at all. I am trying to save this with a white pen and it actually am saving it. So thank God for me to have these tools in my stash. Otherwise I had been so disappointed because it took me quite a while to ink blend all those panels and I didn't want to ruin them. So I'm super happy that I could save them. I mixed up some white acrylic paint, and it's good if it's white and not pink, as I started off here. Sorry about that, so I had to do it once more because I have a tendency to not clean my brushes very well. As you can see, they're turning pink. I don't want pink stars on my blue white stars underneath. So anyway, I am doing the splattering technique, but I hadn't mixed my color with the waters enough, so you can see I'm getting some splatters here that isn't perfect, and that annoyed me so much. And to make things even worse, when that dried, it dried blue, so I had to go in with my marker again and try to fix those blue spots with the white pen again. So anyway, when I had fixed everything and I was quite happy with it, I went in with a Wonky Stitch Wilderness die from Trinity Stamps and cut these panels out. We are going to create some slimline cards today, and I really like that little texture that the border gives. So here are another die that you can find in the envelope builder die set. It's a friend and a hello die, and they are super large, and I really like it. It takes center place in this card that was quite busy, and I think that really tones down the space theme that is going on otherwise. So I'm adhering them down to some 3 by 8.5, I think it is, card bases, and I'm putting the other hello onto the panel, and that pretty much finishes these cards off. If you like this card, please give them a thumb up, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, I would be really happy if you could consider doing that. And I hope you're staying safe and that you're having a good day. Until next time.